What's up, everybody? Welcome to the morning movie chat. I hope you're all having a very good day today. I'm your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here on the Second Street Marvel today to watch me flap my gums, well, about things maybe I just don't know about. Maybe I do. I don't know. You be the judge of that. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And today, guys, I kind of had something saucy I wanted to talk about today, but you know what? I don't know. We might deviate a little bit from that conversation, or maybe more into that conversation as we go here throughout the course of this stream. So I hope you're all having a good morning, guys. It's Monday. It's President's Day. Here we are. God, what is it? The 16th already? Yep, 17th. Dang, I'm a day behind. I hope you're all having a very good day. I hope you all had a great weekend. Hopefully you had a productive weekend. If you had to work, well, hopefully it was still productive. But hopefully you got something done, something worthwhile. And yeah, I guess that's really about it, guys. It was a pretty good weekend for me. Got stayed here at the house, with the family for the most part. Went out, got a couple nice little bike rides in, got some workouts in, trying to be a little more consistent there. And believe me when I say, I have been a little bit more consistent in my in my training and things like that. In case you guys don't know, I'm a cyclist. I ride bikes. I haven't raced in a couple years, but maybe, just maybe, I'll go out and try some more racing again next year, and let you guys know a little bit more about that. But yeah, as you can see, there are a couple of workouts missing here, but been a little more consistent. Like that week right there, there's actually workouts in there that I didn't track and I didn't put in here, but getting more consistent in my riding and things like that. These are things that you guys should do if you guys want to. If you guys are actually into anything out there, if you're trying to change your diet, you're trying to change your workout habits, you're just trying to be more active. Just for one, every little thing helps. But the one thing you gotta do if you want to be part of a successful program, whether like I said, whether it's dieting, wanting to eat healthier, or whether it's wanting to get out to the gym or working out, or maybe you don't want to go to the gym to work out. Maybe you like to go for runs. Maybe you like to go jogging. Maybe you like to go like I do. Maybe you like to go bike riding, whether it's mountain biking, road biking, you like to go skiing, there's all kinds of different things you can do out there. One thing you definitely need to make sure that you have is you need to have a plan, right? You need to have a plan in order to find success. And that's why, that's where a lot of people fail at. Some people go to the gym and they just lift weights, they just get on the treadmill and they just go. I mean, you got to have some sort of a plan for what you're doing. And in order to find success, and you got to model somebody else's success. What they've done, what are they doing? And that's why a lot of people sell these programs. A lot of people are always reluctant to get into these programs. Like I know a few years ago, I got into when my daughter was born, I ordered P90X. And I found a lot of success with it. And people have varying opinions on all these different programs that you can go out there and get. Really what it takes is consistency, but it also takes a plan, and that's why programs like this work. Okay, that's why programs like that work, is because they have taken the time to find what works for general, I guess you could say general audiences, but kind of works for a little bit of everybody. And then from there, you yourself have to go through and fine tune it and things like that. But the one thing they always have, they put in the time and the work and the research into creating a plan. And that's what you got to do, is you got to have a plan. And that's what I do every year with this right here, the Cyclist Training Bible. It is, I mean, it's literally that. It really is a Bible. This thing lays out a whole roadmap for you. Allows you to build your own plan. Allows you to tweak your own plan in order to find varying levels of success along your fitness path. But you have to do things the right way, and that's one thing a lot of people seem to forget, is it always starts with the foundation. It always starts with the foundational things that you do in your everyday life. You know how when you turn your computer on, your computer, for it to work and do what it does, it has a lot of processes that it goes through, regular processes, regular programming, right? That's what it does. You've got to do the same thing with your body. Your body is infinitely a better machine than even a computer. Whether you want to talk about your mind, whether you want to talk about your body is made to be the ultimate machine. And the thing is you can fine tune it. And in order to do that, you gotta like I said, you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. You got to find somebody else that knows what you're looking for. Somebody, like if you're wanting to get buff and you're not wanting to be a cyclist, you wouldn't want to look to this book, right? You wouldn't want to look. You wouldn't want to look to Joe Friel for advice on how to. You're good, dude. You wouldn't want to look to Joe Friel for advice on how to go into the gym and get all buff. That's not what he does. He trains cyclists. So if you want to become a badass cyclist, become fast, learn the foundational things that it takes to become fit, become fast, and become competitive, you go here, right? That's what you got to do. You've got to find different sources. So, yeah, guys. Like I said, I've got my plan pretty much all planned out for the week. Now, I will tell you, I'm not above fault, because believe me when I say I already pushed things back 1 week. I already pushed it all back for 1 week from what I originally set, so this week starts my new phase of training when it was supposed to be last week. I just didn't get the chance to put in the kind of hours that I wanted to last week. No excuses or anything. I'm just delaying everything by 1 week, and that's not too bad. It's not like I just fell off the wagon or anything like that. So that's it, guys. Something else a lot of people do is when they falter on their goals, they don't hit them. Maybe they're like, oh, and they get discouraged and they discontinue the plan and they just start doing whatever. Kind of throws them off whack. Maybe it ruins their motivation. But and some people go in and they double down, like, oh no, we're gonna double down. Like, there's no need to do that. You just gotta stay consistent. That's the most important thing. Delaying things by 1 week isn't that big of a deal. So this week we're gonna go ahead and get everything right back on track, and we're gonna get tracking where we need to go. But things have been going good, and I hope you guys are all finding success in any endeavors that you may have. If there's any questions you have, anything like that, guys, I've kind of got an experience in a lot of things. If you ever have anything that you guys want me to talk about, want me to cover, let me know down in the comments below. I would definitely like to help you guys with anything like that. And so anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get here into the chats. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today, guys, was last week I was talking about indie comic books on the Trailer Park Live. I was kind of talking about some of that kind of stuff too. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today is like a lot of people talk about the movies and everything we're doing, political agendas, personal agendas and things that people want to put in movies and things like that. And one of the things it seems to be a very controversial topic is tokenizing, race swapping, gender swapping of characters in the comic books, in the movies, and things like that. And we've been talking about that the past couple days. Let me know what you guys think about these things when it happens in the films. And specifically what I want to know about is okay, let's say even if you don't like it, or even if you do like it, does that mean that it can't be good? Does that mean that just because they race swap or tokenize a character or anything like that, that it can't be good? That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's see. We got Tommy here. Thank you so much for being here. Captain Pennsylvania. Maverick Pilgrim. Thank you for being here. Wookiee Supremacy is here. Fanjecture. Good morning. Fanjecture. I seen you on Ryan's video. From Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV. In case you guys don't know, guys, one of my favorites, one of my good friends here on YouTube, and he is YouTube's best editor. I guarantee you there are teams of people who can't do the work that he does. Very good stuff. You should go check out the Fandom Initiative Part 4. It just released yesterday. You should go check it out. It was a good time talking about the future of the of Star Wars and what we would like to see. What's kind of funny about that video is a lot of us seemed to want the same thing, to go back in time and learn the origins of the Force and the Sith and the Force sensitive. It was kind of funny. I was sitting there watching, I'm like, is that odd that we all want to see the same thing? Like, because one of the guys was even talking about something I specifically wanted to see, is like, who were the first guys who found out that they were Force sensitives, and who was the first ones that became like, the Sith and the Jedi, where they like, where they turned on each other, where that came about. You know what I mean? That kind of really, that's something that was really interesting to me. Now, another thing I want to mention, guys, before I go on and plug Ryan once again, Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV. Go check that out. I'm telling you, go follow the link down in the description of this video at the very bottom. Not the very, very bottom, but there towards the bottom. Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV is who does the intro on all of the, on the video, that I use in my videos. The music was me and my friends, but the video part that you see all there, that badass Spider-Man stuff, that was Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV. I'm telling you, he's a great ass editor. You should go check him out. But guys, there are links down in the description where if you'd like, you can go and you can become a monthly Patreon supporter for as little as $1 a month, or you can even send in direct donations to the channel via Streamlabs. Do greatly appreciate all that. Or you can even always, you could always just send in super chats. Or you could even just make sure that you watch all those ads, all the ads that pop up in the videos and stuff. Make sure you watch those. That helps out. That helps out. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to send in super chats. And it helps out. You know what I'm saying? You should do that. It'd be cool. I'd appreciate it. I'd greatly appreciate that. Let's see. Curtis YZ says, movies, chat, morning, yes. Hashtag. Wookie Supremacy says, I haven't been to bed yet. Hell of a night last night. Nice. Stares blankly at fan gesture in disbelief. Oh no, what happened? I'm everywhere. Oh, okay. Dog School, thank you so much for being here. Maverick Pilgrim says, said like Harrison Ford. That's funny. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The Sphinx. Yes. P90X had that ab ripper. Wow. Yeah, ab ripper, is pretty tough. Like the one that I do is P90X2, because for me it's perfect for like more like sports oriented type people, like, because I'm a cyclist, so it's really good for that because it really only has one phase where you're doing like heavier weightlifting, where the first phase is a lot of core foundational work that is really good for being on the bike, and then the second phase is more weightlifting. Then the third one is where all the fun really starts, the third phase. But yeah, Ab Ripper X, man, it's a tough one. Everyone is a mod now. Nice. Not everyone, just Patreon supporters and a couple of other select people. Definitely. Did we get a Mystery Men quote? Oh man, I don't think so. I don't think I did. It's been a while since I've seen Mystery Men. I need to see that one. I need to watch that again because I love that movie. It's hilarious. Ben Stiller is. I love Ben Stiller. He's great. I don't know if that's the correct emoji for the situation, but I appreciate the sentiment. I must have missed that one. Still waiting for the sequel. Oh no, what? The sequel to what? I must have missed it. Okay, I'm in Canada. I have to go. See ya. Okay, Dog School, take it easy. I have a plan. Crush my enemies, see them driven before me, and to hear the lamentations of the women. Oh man, chat just jumped on me. Let's see. Does it give a roadmap to not? Curtis YZ says, does it give a roadmap to not biking on the roads? Just kidding. Share the road, y'all. No, it doesn't. And honestly, most people on the road, most people are cool with it. But also, I ride on a lot of roads where, and typically at times where people are usually either at work or they're commuting to work, and the times when we run across the commuters is actually not too far from right here where I live at, and we're only out there with them for maybe about 5 miles. But we're usually in a group going pretty fast, and there's traffic going one way and not the other. Most people are cool, and they're cool, and they just go around. You occasionally get the asshole though. Biden Touch, thank you so much for being here. Long box diving, coffee breath. How are you doing? The damn thing we do every night, Pinky. Oh man, what did I miss? Am I missing something? Maverick says, trying to become a professional troll. Tough to get sponsors. Biden Touch says, I want to be a badass unicyclist. Yes. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Work on your core, bro. Work on your core. Keep that core tight. Greetings and salutations, Rob Boswell. How are you doing today? Are you in relation to Brian Boswell? Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Remember the Boz? Yeah, two wheels are for chumps. Love all the Transformer stuff. Trying to work and troll is really difficult. Doing both poorly at the moment. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. I worked hard to be lazy now, and I'm not throwing it all away. You're doing it right. Coffee Breath says, can you help Can you help ride a bike without training wheels? What do you mean? Like, learn how to ride a bike without training wheels? Like if you're trying to like teach a kid how to ride a bike without training wheels, the easiest thing to do is go out. They got these things called Strider bikes. You can go out there. They're basically like a regular bike frame for kids, but they don't have pedals on it. It don't have a spot for pedals on there, and it's just it teaches them balance. They just basically push off with their feet and they just ride it like that. And I put my kids on one of those, and they were riding a pedal bicycle within a week. All characters should become females. I like females. Yes. Good. Very good point. Very good point. They aren't training wheels. They're insurance extensions. Sith Lord, thank you so much for being here. Tommy says, I want to go back in time, but not for movies. I want to load up on 80s toys, bring them back to this time, and make a killing. Oh, yeah. If Disney changed Ahsoka's skin color to green, would it be cool? I think not. Captain Pennsylvania says, as a minority, I hate gender and race swapping when they can create new characters. It can be good sometimes, though. In certain situations, I still don't like it. Might as well start species swapping too. F it. Let's see. Race swapping is exactly pointless. I don't think you're in the you're a minority in that view, Cap. Definitely not. Definitely not. Let's get some dog representation. But yeah, where's the guinea pig representation? Sith Lord says race and gender swapping is lazy and uncreative that only hacks do. Tommy says, I would like to see the real outrage if they swapped Batwoman from lesbian to straight and watch people lose their minds. Fanjexter says... Sith Lord, not in all cases, but generally. Oh man, what? Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's what we were talking about. I was gonna say, I don't know that it's in a lot of cases it's lazy. In a lot of cases it's lazy, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Okay, I see what you're saying there. Majority everyone but Sith discriminate much. Trend effing Nazi. Oh man, am I the only one that thought Jason Aaron's Lady Thor was a good read? Honestly, I haven't read it. That's why, like, I won't say. I understand a lot of people have a lot of problems with it. I haven't read it myself, so I don't know. I know people who have read it who still don't like it, and I know many people who have read it and like it. So I think it really comes down to personal preference, and we'll get in a little bit more to that here in just a minute. Depends if it works or not. When it works, we don't complain. When it does, no one bats an eye. Let's see. That's true. Ovidio Rodriguez says, it seems like all the X comics are your favorite. House of X and Powers of X seems to finally be coming full circle after the last few comics. Absolutely. What are your thoughts about the current mutant situation? Give me just a second, guys. Okay. Let's see. Let's get into that. Let's get into that just a little bit here. Where was that? It says it seems like that all of the X comics are your favorite. Actually, they're not. The X comics, I got to tell you, the X comics are really good. I've really been enjoying what Jonathan Hickman has, the story he's been kind of weaving over there. It's been really good. They're not my favorite of the things that are coming out at Marvel right now. They are some of my favorite. But I was gonna get into this too a little bit before we get into the main conversation here. Let's see how far down are we on the conversation. Okay, we're pretty caught up. Let's catch up with this and we'll come back to this video. Fanjexter says, imagine if we never got Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. That would have been a shame. Absolutely. Rob Boswell says that was Brian Bos. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. Dang it, Bosworth. Dang, close enough. He's like my fifth cousin's neighbor. Yeah, you're right. It was Bosworth. Dang it. Oh man. Learn by busting your ass. Star Wars Santa says, hey, I'm a bit late to the stream. Good morning to you, Star Wars Santa. Guys, make sure you go check out Star Wars Santa's channel, man. Race swap shaft and see what happens. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead before we get into that. Well, this will kind of lead us there. This question by Ovidio Rodriguez says, "It seems like of all the X comics are your favorite. House of X and Powers of X seems to be finally coming full circle after the last few comics. What are your thoughts about the current mutant situation?" Okay, the X comics, they're not my favorite. Of things that are going on in Marvel right now, they are some of the better stories. I wouldn't say my favorite, and that's the funny thing that I wanted to talk about here. Now, I will say, it seems like a lot of things are coming full circle. I've noticed in like the past 2 to 3 weeks, a lot of the X books are finally starting to tie back into those first issues, those first handful of issues of House of X and Powers of X. A lot of it's really been tying into that. I think that's really cool. I think there's plenty of things we still haven't seen. A lot of lines that people still haven't drawn yet, parallel lines to these stories. But it's been really good. My thoughts about the current mutant situation is it's weird. I thought from the very start everybody was acting a little weird. The whole situation seemed a little weird. Even Wolverine in in one of the issues said, "Man, it's just too weird, man. Like we're here on Krakoa, just like, nah, it's not right." A lot of them are acting weird. We seen in some of the books, Professor Xavier, his eyes were blue instead of brown like they were in the House of X and Powers of X. Some weird things going on here. A lot of the people are in the X universe. While they're supposed to be living on Krakoa, it's supposed to be their safe space for all mutants and everything. All these guys seem to be. And here's what I was talking about the other day: is when we were talking. I think it was on Saturday when we were talking on the Comics and Mayhem stream. I think that's what he's called it. Me and Dylan and Chris from Chaos and Comics and Dylan from Dylan's Comics were talking about that. About all these mutants seem to be. They're not necessarily backstabbing each other. Not necessarily backstabbing each other, but it's like they're stabbing each other. You know, like they just like they've got knives, and each time they come by each other, they're just cutting each other. You know what I mean? They're just like they're all like they're not just outright, except for Sebastian Shaw. That dude's one shady mother. But it seems like they're all just kind of like cutting each other. Like nobody is really like nobody has anybody's best interests at heart. You know, especially on the Quiet Council of Krakoa, all of these mutants seem to be doing shady stuff. They all seem to like the only ones we haven't learned of is, and this is what we were talking about, is Marvel Girl, Jean Grey. We haven't seen her do anything like crazy suspicious. Aurora Monroe, Storm. We haven't seen her acting crazy or anything, and Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler. These are like the only three we haven't seen acting like corrupt, crazy, freaking people. But I've got to say it's been really good. I've really enjoyed what's been going on in the X comics. Now this will kind of segue us into what I want to talk about with some of the race swapping and gender swapping of characters. Not only in the comic books but also in the movies and things like that. And these kinds of things happen in more than just comic books and more than just comic book movies. There are movies across we could look at all kinds of movies out there that have changed from their if it was previously a book or anything like that, did adaptations, people race swap, gender swap, and these things. It happens. It's happened a lot. People are just starting to care more about it now. That's ultimately what it comes down to, because this war, this culture war, if you will, is why it's a bigger deal now. But back to your question about them wanting to be some of my favorites, Ovidio Rodriguez. Here's the one thing I've got to say about that is, what's funny, and here's the thing about Marvel. Marvel's got a lot of great characters. They've got a lot of characters that people have loved for a long time. They got a lot of legacy characters. To me, I think when it comes to these legacy characters is when people have the problems with all the when you go and change these characters, is when people have a problem with all the race changes, the gender swaps, and all that stuff, and say that it's lazy writing. And it's not that it's lazy writing. It's just that it's not creative or anything like that. You're just literally taking a character and just changing them, like Miles Morales, Spiderman. Now the thing is they're fundamentally the same character. They just change the character, but that doesn't mean that it can't be good, right? That doesn't mean that it can't be good and entertaining. Most of the people that I hear that are complaining about a lot of these race and gender swaps, most of their complaints aren't that it's not good, that it can't be good. Like most people, like a lot of people who don't like the Miles Morales Spider-Man thing, they go watch Into the Spider-Verse, and I've heard a lot of people say, yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie, but it's still what it is. It's still a race and a race swapped character. It's still it's a reskinned Peter Parker, and it is. And it is, but that doesn't mean that it can't be good. Now, the thing with Marvel here, I think that's funny, is the one thing I was talking about last week is that's the place of indie comic books, or creating new characters within the Marvel universe or DC universe, whoever you want, is just create new characters. It's not that hard to do. People do it all the time. Whether we're talking about indie comic books, whether we're talking about indie movies and things like that. That's why this whole, the whole thing with the representation and all these kinds of things people talk about in film. These things have been going on forever, just not in a lot of the bigger films. And the thing is just because they do that doesn't mean that it can't be good. Now, the funny thing is, when it comes to Marvel and these comic books, the funny thing is, like I was saying, they have these legacy characters, these old characters that are great characters. We got Amazing Spider-Man, which, by the way, guys, if you were reading Amazing Spider-Man and you dropped it and you're coming back into it now, come back into it. Like Amazing Spider-Man, the last few issues have gotten really, really good. The last few issues. Okay, now the thing is, here is. Marvel Comics is funny because they have all these great legacy characters that they have boring comic books. They're boring. And now they're starting to put out these comic books that are side characters that have their own comic books that are actually good. Right? The Amazing Mary Jane. Something, it's funny, I heard when this comic book came out, I seen somebody who don't even read comic books read an article about comic books and expressed a lot of outrage about the Amazing Mary Jane comic book. I even did a Trailer Park Live one day when I was talking about it and how ridiculous it is that you don't even read comic books, but you have a problem with there being an Amazing Mary Jane comic book. You read an article and you got upset. The thing is, I do read them. I've been reading Amazing Spider-Man, and I've been reading the Amazing Mary Jane, and I'm telling you, Amazing Mary Jane is getting ready to come out this Wednesday, and I'm telling you, I think of most of the books that are coming out this Wednesday, it's one of the ones I'm looking the most forward to reading. Yeah, I actually anticipate. I'm actually waiting to read Amazing Mary Jane. A girl character, which is cool. I have no problem with that. Everyone knows that Black Widow is one of my favorite characters. I'm giving a copy of this away. You just got to go watch my video from a few weeks back, where I talked about the new Black Widow comic book that's getting ready to be released by Kelly Thompson. It was on a Monday. Go check it out. I'm giving a copy of it away. I tell you how to get entered in that video. The thing is it's a character. She's a female character with no superpowers. She's not even fighting villains in this comic book, but it's so well written. I actually look forward to reading this book. Right? Black Cat, which I finally got caught up on reading this weekend. Black Cat has been a good book. It's been fun. I got caught up and I'm like, man, I actually feel bad for, only reading like the first 3 issues and then falling off and then catching up, because it's been a good story. And there's, things going on here. Marvel's been picking up on their continuity a little bit, except for in Avengers, it seems like. So we've got Amazing Mary Jane, we've got Black Cat, 2 side characters, for the most part. They have their own series now and are actually both pretty good books. I actually look forward to reading these 2 titles more than I look forward to reading Captain America, Captain Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man. I actually look forward to reading these more. And that's the thing, is it doesn't take much. You got to hook me in and make me want to read it. You know what I mean? And that's the cool thing, is that's what they've managed to do with these books, right? Gwen Stacy. Another side character. They just came out with her own series this last week. I can't remember. God, who was it writing this? God, who was it that's writing it? Christos Gage. Christos Gage writing Gwen Stacy. And I got to tell you guys, I like Christos Gage writing. He was writing the Superior Spider-Man before this. Superior Spider-Man was a great book, and it was good. Like, the Gwen Stacy book was good. It was, granted it was a look in the past. It's only a 5-issue miniseries, but it was actually a pretty well-written book. I had fun reading it. So Marvel seems to have this thing where they can write a good... They're writing these great, tales with these female characters of people who don't have superpowers. Now, Black Cat, of course... Black Cat, I guess you could say she has a superpower. She has a superpower, kinda. You know, doesn't really help her kick anybody's butt, but it's helped her avoid being cast under the spell of magic and things here recently. So we'll give her that. But these three characters, female characters, one of them has a writer on it that before going into it I was suspect of. Leah Williams on Amazing Spider-Man or on Amazing Mary Jane. I was suspect of her writing before going into this. She wrote this book for 4 issues now. It's been great. They found a way to make it work. Right? And these are old characters. They're not new characters. And the thing is they haven't changed these characters fundamentally, who they are or anything. You know, they just taken them and done something new with them, and it's been great. But some of these other characters, I don't see it in, and that's the cool thing. You know, they didn't have to do anything for these characters, these 3 female characters, to have good books. They just came out with Arrow not too long ago, which has been a very good book. This is a new character to Marvel Comics. She's been in the New Agents of Atlas books, apparently. I didn't really read any of those through the War of the Realms or anything. But she's got her own solo series now. It's doing good. So that's good. You know, they've actually, you know, they've got some new characters that they're bringing in too, as well as doing things with their old characters. They're not changing them or anything. Just come up with new characters. If you want to come up with new characters, just come up with new characters. If you want them to represent certain things, and that's really about it. And that's the thing though. Even if you create new characters and say you create that character out there to bring in your representation, you know, whether that's wanting it to be a person of color, whether they're Black, Hispanic, Asian, anything like that. Cool. Whether they're gay, they're straight, they're bisexual, they're trans, anything like that. It's cool. You're doing that with a new character, and that can be a good story. That's the thing, is you can make it a good story. That's what it all starts with, and that's why I say when it comes to things like, you know, in these movies, when they race swap characters from the books to the movies or anything like that, just because they do that doesn't mean that it can't be good, right? Just because they race swapped Peter Parker and we got Miles Morales Spider-Man, they did that into the Spider-Verse and it's in the comic books and anything. That doesn't mean that it's not good, you know. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that. You know, when they hear people talking and griping about these race swap characters, just because they're race swap doesn't mean that the story itself can't be good. Doesn't mean that the character can't be good. But the thing is you could actually easily just go in there and create a new character instead of taking the old character and changing them in that way. And obviously, I think most of us know that this is what upsets people the most. It's not the fact that they do it. It's that they could just create new characters out there to do this with. And the thing is I was watching Comic Boom last night. I was watching Comic Boom and he had a guest on there. I can't remember the guy's name exactly, but go check out Comic Boom. He did this live stream last night, and they were talking about this exact same thing. You know, just change the characters. It's all good. And we were in there having a conversation, and somebody else was like, "Oh, it's just lazy writing." It depends on what we're talking about, because the conversation was kind of going in a bunch of different directions about like the race swapping, and stuff. Yeah, just create new characters. You don't have to do that stuff to get people to represent. Just create new characters. But doing new things with old characters is fine. You know, you can do new things with old characters. That doesn't mean you have to change their race. That doesn't mean you have to change their sexuality, their gender, or anything like that. You can still do new things with them, just like they did, and that doesn't mean that people are always going to like it. Just like they did with Captain America when they made him a Hydra agent, Hell Hydra, and all that stuff. That's what got me back into reading comic books, was when I heard about that, and later I went into research and I was like, ooh, this is a really great story. And I went back, and I went back, and I went back to the beginning of when that happened, and I was reading a lot of that stuff. I'm like, interesting stuff. I really did like it. It got me into that story. They did something new with the character, right? And I'm not talking about Sam Wilson's Captain America. I'm talking about actual Steve Rogers' Captain America and those kinds of things. So they did something new with the character, but a lot of people didn't like this change. I can tell you, Demajanai, in case you guys don't know who Demajanai is, go check him out. Demajanai, this is one of those changes I've heard him talk about. He didn't like it. He didn't like when they did the whole Hell Hydra made him an agent of Hydra thing, but that's what got me back into reading comic books. And for me, because what he did through the course of all this stuff was it remained the core of his character. Steve Rogers' character still came out throughout that whole storyline. Was, he was still a tactician. He still was good at things like that, calling the shots, building, planning. Just he was still good at that, and he still did what he does and took over, Hydra and all that stuff. He took over America and all that stuff. He still did what Captain America does, right? He was just on the opposite side, but he still did what he does. To me, that was the cool thing, because it held true to the essence of his character. He just did something new. So like I said, it doesn't. It's not always a bad thing. It's just, like it takes a good writer. It takes somebody doing something, new and original. It doesn't mean it has to be like a tokenized version of a character. But if and that's not to say that it can't be that even when they do that it can't be good. Rob Boswell sends in a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Says, "Hail Hydra." Yes, Hail Hydra. And that's the thing. Like I said, I think a lot of people, I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Because like I feel that just because they did, they did race swap Peter Parker and we got Miles Morales Spider-Man, that don't mean that it can't be good. I watched the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's a great movie. It's a good movie. It's still a race swapped Peter Parker. It's still, it's still that. It's still a tokenized Peter Parker, but that doesn't mean it can't be good, does it? Does it? Let me know. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Because, like I said, I feel that it can still be good. The Into the Spider-Verse was a good storyline. I was reading the Miles Morales Spider-Man. I think I read the first 6 issues of the current run. Thought it was good, but at the same time, I'm reading all these other Spider-Man at the same time. I'm like, I don't have time for all this, so I dropped it. But it was good. But again, it still, it still came down to, it was still pretty much, reading a Peter Parker story with a different color lead character and a different suit. That's really all it is. Other than that, it's Peter Parker Spider-Man. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that it can't be good. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Because I feel that just because they do that doesn't mean that it can't be good. And like I said, most of the people out there that I see who don't like it when they race swap and gender swap these characters, I still don't hear any of them say that it's only bad because of that it's not good. It's just they don't agree with the changing of these characters. But I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel about that, because I still feel that it can be good. Though it's for the most part unnecessary, doesn't mean that it can't be good. I don't know. Let me see what you guys are saying here in the chats. You guys have been pretty active. Like I said, these kind of issues are like kind of hot topic issues. A lot of people get kind of heated about and have varying degrees of opinions about as well. So to me, I think it's something interesting. I think it's something interesting out there in the world to talk about. Chillmonger, how you doing? Perry Comics says, "What's up, dudes?" Southern Comic Geek, thank you so much for being here. Comics on the Mind says, "Good morning. How are you doing?" Jason Preston, thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Ovidio Rodriguez says, "Both Kitty Pryde and Moira X are both vital parts to Days of Future Past and the new Hoxapox era. I believe they may be the same person." You think Kitty Pryde and Moira X are the same person? Wow. I'm going to have to look into that. That's interesting. Man. What do you guys think about that, dude? Anybody, any of my comic geeks, my comic peeps, what do you guys think about that? Do you think Kitty Pryde and Moira X could be the same person? Whew. That's pretty crazy. Though it would make me ask, why can't Kitty Pryde then walk through the Krakoan gates? Yeah, that's wow though, dude. Yeah, that's a good one. Maverick Pilgrim says, "I feel like they eventually made good on Miles Morales." Yeah, no, I think Miles Morales is fine. The thing is, he still is one of those race swap characters, and like I said, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about today. Is, does that mean that it can't be good? You know, does that mean that it can't be good just because they race swap the characters? Like I said, you know, we could look at, you know, I know some people out there, you know Scarlett Johansson, that dirty actress who takes characters from people of color and other races and things like that. Ooh, she's so evil for taking movie roles. You ever see that movie Ghost in the Shell? Ugh. People like are still like. I seen this. I seen this interview with this guy who was writing this comic book, and he made mention of that. Made mention about this thing with Scarlett Johansson, like, oh yeah, it's just wrong that these people go and take these other like, dude, like she's bringing credibility to the movie. She's bringing the like, what do you want? You know, just because there's not a good actor to fill that role, so they got somebody else that could do that role, doesn't mean that she shouldn't be able to do that role. Like, come on, she's an actress. Let's see. Right. It can be good. It just usually ain't. It just usually ain't. Okay. Wookiee Supremacy says Caucasian erasure is totally cool. I'm sure it's fine. Sith Lord says it's all about respecting the original. Absolutely. Absolutely. Curtis YZ says Miles is one of the few swaps accepted because A, been around a while now, B, the story was actually pretty good to general audience. Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, because we could easily look at like Spider-Gwen too. She's the same thing. She's just a race swapped Spider-Man, so, or not race, but gender swapped Spider-Man. So, you know, and I've read some of her books, and you know they're pretty good too. But again, they still come down to being Peter Parker stories essentially. Um, Southern Comic Geek says Miles finally got a fan following of his own. Most of the other swaps didn't, like Amadeus Cho. Right, right. Comics Online says I may need to pick up 38 of Amazing Spider-Man, but yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I was gonna say I think was it like the last couple issues have been really good. Pretty funny actually. I would say 30. I think 37, 38, and 39 were all pretty decent issues. I'm thinking the last two definitely 38 and 39 were really good. I did like those. Yeah, they were great Spider-Man stuff. Southern Comic Geek says, I agree on Amazing Spider-Man. It's like old Spidey. I hope they keep going in this direction. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's one thing I liked when Nick Spencer took over anyway, is the fact that he brought him back to his classic form. We no longer have Peter Starker, as I like to call him. We no longer have MCU Spider-Man in the comic books. Nick Spencer brought us back classic Peter Parker, and that's what I like. And that's the one thing I don't like about Peter Starker in the MCU is I want Peter Parker, not Peter Starker. Hashtag the Stark Sham. And it always comes back around to the Stark Sham. I'm gonna get some dislikes for that. If you're here in the chat, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Thumbs this shit up, man. Give this video a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down too. If you don't like the content, you know, the fact that we're talking about the tokenized and race swapping of characters, give it a thumbs down too. It's all good. I understand. But let your voice be heard. Let us know down in the comments. You know, how do you feel about it? You know, like I said, I think they should create new characters if they want to race swap, gender swap, you know, or sexually orientate these characters. Just come up with new characters for the representation you want. I don't think anybody has any problem with that. But I'm also saying that just because they do something with that, with a character like that, also doesn't mean that it can't be good, because it can be, and we've got examples of where it has been. Trav28 says, "Yo, Trinity, hope you are well. I hope you're doing well as well, man. Thank you for being here on the live stream." Let's see. Sith Lord says it would be better to create new characters, hands down. Absolutely. And the thing is, it's not like it's hard to. Didn't DC just come out with Naomi last year? You know, they did that. Marvel came out with they just came out with Swordmaster and Arrow. There's plenty of other ones that are like original characters. You know, they're not just copying powers, suits, and all that stuff like they did with Miles. I mean, they're coming up with new characters, so it's possible. You know, in indie comic books, they do it every day. You know, every single day. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely better to create new characters. Comics on the Mind says I hopped on at 32 Southern Comic Geek and love it so far. Yeah, I was gonna say you probably hopped in when it was still tying into everything on Amazing Spider-Man. Issues like 26, 27, somewhere right around there, through like 36 or so. They weren't that good because they were tying Amazing Spider-Man into everything else. They were tying him into 2099. They were tying him in to Absolute Carnage. They were tying him into this. They were tying him into that. And it's like, just because he's your flagship character doesn't mean he needs to tie into everything. Just leave his solo series alone. They should have done that with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man before they ended that. They should have just had all that stuff tie into that series, to offshoot all those things and keep the Amazing Spider-Man what it was. Because the Amazing Spider-Man, the last few issues have been really, really good. Let's see. Curtis YZ says, I don't like sports, but by God, if it's my duty to monitor all new players and stats on them. Vlad Riot, thank you so much for being here. Hello to you. Yeah, I have read up to the annual and I liked it. Okay. To the annual on Amazing Spider-Man, I'm guessing. I think that's what we're talking about here. Southern Comic Geek says, let the market decide if they want a Mary Jane comic versus Captain America. Just quit trying to retcon old characters to appease people who probably don't even read comics. Like making Iceman gay. Right. Now, here's the thing, Southern Comic Geek. Let the market decide if they want a Mary Jane comic versus Captain America. I'll tell you right now, at this point right now, that I'm at right now, I'd rather have Amazing Mary Jane than Captain America. Leah Williams has done a better job writing the Amazing Mary Jane than Ta-Nehisi Coates has done with Captain America. And not to say that Captain America has been terrible. It's just been slow moving. It's telling a story. It's telling a pretty cool story. It's telling a decent story, but it's very slow. It's very slow. Like each one of these issues, like should be like they need to get an editor over there and condense that shit down. But I will tell you, at this point, I want to see an Amazing Mary Jane comic book. I'm looking forward to reading issue number 5 this week. It's probably of mainstream comics, aside from maybe the X titles, it's the one I'm actually looking forward to reading this week. It'd probably be one of the first ones I open. Amazing Mary Jane, man, I'm telling you, this is a good book. This is a good book. It's funny, it's lighthearted, it's delightful. And it's sad when I like that out of a comic book, out of Marvel, more so than some of their other characters. That's the sad thing. It's a sad thing. It really is. But it's good for me because at least I'm getting a good comic book. Something that was a surprise. Because I didn't think this book was going to be as good as it is. But yeah, the Iceman gay thing, like, yeah, they didn't have to do that. And for one, like, you know, right now in Marauders, every issue we have to get our reminder. You know, like, and I don't have any problem. Like, I don't have any problem with gay people. That's all cool, man. I don't care about people's orientations and stuff like that. But you don't have to remind me every single damn issue that Iceman is gay. Like, we get it. We get it. It's just like my friend said about Ellen. You know, he's a big fan of Ellen. And he was saying, man, when she came out, like, every episode that she did, man, was like, you know, on her TV show, was like, oh, gay this, gay that, you know, just letting everybody know. And he's like, it got old. You know, he's like, I'm sitting there, he's like, I like watching the show, but every time I'm like, okay, when's it coming? Like, you know. Well, you know, and that's the thing. You don't have to beat us over the head with it. Like, it is what it is. Like, we get it. We know. That's it. Black Cat has always been a cool character, absolutely, and right now she is doing, there's some crazy stuff going on. Marvel is really picking up on their continuity lately, except for the Avengers, apparently. No one cares about who he likes. It's like they changed Iceman mutant power to being a spokesperson to fit LGBT versus being an Omega level mutant. Oh yeah, absolutely, Southern Comic Geek. Yeah. Coffee Breath says, hot take: X-Men Giant Size #1 was a giant size race swap, and no one said anything. X-Men Giant Size. I'll have to go back and read that one. I've got it too, because I think they released the facsimile copy of that not too long ago. I'm pretty sure I picked that up. I'll have to check that out. You know, we can even check right now. I'm pretty sure I have that one in here. X-Men Giant Size. Where is it at? I'm talking about this one, right? Yeah, I picked up. This is just a facsimile copy. Obviously, you guys can tell that. But yeah, I picked this one up. I'll have to check that out. I'm trying to get caught up on all my regular books before I get into, you know, reading some of these facsimile copies and reading back stuff. But yeah, I'll check that out. Trav28 says, Gwen Stacy was the most important thing to happen to Spidey and Peter Parker. Her death, original, broke every comic every comic book rule in the book. Okay, all right. Like explain. Like I don't get that. I'm not quite sure I understand what you're saying. I will say one thing though, guys. One thing that Marvel did not too long ago, and I wish they would make a movie of it, is not last year, but the year before. Gosh, that would have been in 2018. They did a story, a series, an event called Spider-Geddon. And in this Spider-Geddon, they had one of the tie-in issues was Vault of Spiders, and they introduced this character called Spiders Man. Spiders Man. And I wish, this is one of those stories, I wish Sony would make this movie called Spiders Man. It would be a great sci-fi thriller slash horror film, because Spiders Man, it was him and Gwen Stacy. They were going to Empire State University, and they were there, and they were running some of these experiments on these spiders and everything, and Peter Parker fell into this vat of these spiders, and they all basically ate him. They ate him up. They ate him to death. They ate him up. And all these spiders took on his persona and thought they were Peter Parker. They thought they were Spider-Man. They became Spiders Man. And it was really crazy because he was always trying to stay away from Gwen Stacy and everything like that. I'm pretty sure it was Gwen, wasn't it? I don't think it was Mary Jane in that story. I'd have to say I'm pretty sure it was Gwen. And he always stayed away from her because he's like, he didn't want to reveal to her, because like he thought he was actually Peter Parker, but he knew that he wasn't at the same time. And he never wanted to reveal to her that he wasn't really him. That he was Spiders Man. He was just a bunch of spiders. Crazy story. I would love, I think it would make a great sci-fi horror thriller. And it was just like a little, like, 10-page story in one of the books, in the Vault of Spiders book. And I'm telling you, it was great. It was great. It was a good one. Let's see. Good morning to all my comic book brothers in arms. Mission. What's up, Max Santiago? How are you doing? Does anyone like Spectacular? Spectacular Spider-Man? I haven't read a whole lot of Spectacular Spider-Man. I myself haven't. Let's see. Is that... Ooh, yeah. I think it's in this issue right here. Yeah, right there. Spiders Man. It's pretty crazy stuff, dude. It's pretty crazy stuff. Let's see. Two Gun Pedro, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a good day as well. Trav28 says, bring the original Spider-Mobile Beach Buggy back again. It deserves its own book series. You know what's funny is they actually just used that in a comic book recently. Perry Comics says, in the office, can't hear anything, just like watching Trin move his arms around. Oh. Folks didn't really care for Guy Gardner taking the piece of Hal Jordan. White dude replacing white dude. We really identify our heroes with a particular character. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and that just goes to prove that it doesn't have to just be like a race swap or a gender swap or anything like that that gets people upset. It can be just like changing those fundamental things about a character, making it from one character to another. He's miming. But anything straight white male, yeah, we know. Says Wookie, right? Curtis YZ says, it can be good, however, it is still lazy, cash grab, slimy, slightly racist for being so lazy. In my opinion, it's just a hand-me-down, says Curtis YZ. Absolutely, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. No, it's that they only do it to white characters, says Wookie. It sure does seem like that. I mean, I'm sure there's cases where they've done it the other way around. I wouldn't know what they are. I'm sure it's out there, though. I'm sure if you get somebody who's that into the subject, somebody else out there will pull that up. We'll bring that up. I guarantee it. There's somebody out there they've done it with, guaranteed. Southern Comic Geek says, just changing the old characters to the new race sexual preference, doesn't that cheapen the ideas they are trying to promote, as if you can't make a new minority character with new powers? Absolutely. Comics on the Mind says, ooh, it jumped again. Jumped again. I'm way behind here on the chats here, aren't I, guys? Oh, yeah, way behind. Comics on the Mind says, I loved Secret Empire, but people crapped on it while I read it. I loved the twist of all of it. Options are options for a reason. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I loved Secret Empire. I love that. I mean, I've got that on. I've got that on trade here in my collection here. The trade paperback of Secret Empire is great stuff. Trinity's slogan: Hell Hydration. Yes, Hell Hydration. Ah. Yes, and once again, Rob Boswell, thank you for the $2 super chat, man. Greatly appreciated. No one is against new diverse characters taking away old favorites and making them a different race instead of including diversity isn't in good taste. Yeah, right. And that's the thing is like things like that, like things like diversity happen naturally anyway. Things like diversity happen naturally anyway in the real world and things like that. So yeah, totally. Um, let's see. Southern Comic Book Geek says the books move with the times. Kids today want to see how society is evolving. Yeah, that's true. I really get the reading. Really enjoyed reading the old Power Man comics back in the '80s. New character, new abilities, new backstory. Really enjoyable character and stories. Huh, interesting. Abu Nas, the president, drops a $5 super chat. Says, passing by to show some love and respect for the comic book teacher. Keep rocking the spot, bro, and stay on the grind. My brother, man, thank you so much for being here. And continue to shine and blow folks' minds. Thank you so much for that, Abu Nas. Greatly appreciated, man. If you guys don't know Abu Nas, go check out his channel. Go check out the president, man. He is part of the Fandom Menace. He is part of the Dark Council. You should definitely go check out his stuff, man. And you know what? Abu Nas is one of those guys out there I have the utmost respect for, dude. Very outspoken, dude. I'm telling you, this man loves his Star Wars. He does. He really does have a true love for it, man. He's a good dude, and yeah, I seen it even this weekend. I was hopping on some of his. He was doing some gaming streams this weekend. So yeah, make sure you go check out Abu Nas. And even last Monday, was it last Monday? I think it was last Monday or Tuesday. He even dropped a really fire video on talking about fandoms and stuff like that, man. Greatly appreciated. Wise man, man. Wise beyond his years. Great dude. Go check him out, guys. Go check out the president, Abu Nas, man. Thanks for stopping by, Abu Nas, man. Much appreciated, brother. But Power Man, I don't think I ever read the Power Man comic books. Opinions are opinions, says Comics on the Mind. Exactly. Max Santiago says, I want my Puerto Rican strawberry shortcake because why the hell not? That's funny. At Trap28, are those the ones buying the product today? I must have missed something. Oh yeah, like with the comic books. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Yeah. Miles Morales is damn good. Read the JMS run on Spidey. Ari Totes. I must have missed something there. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was reading the Miles Morales Spider-Man, the current run. I read like the first 5-6 issues. It was okay. I just dropped it because there was so many damn Spider-Mans going on at the time, and I kept with Friendly Neighborhood and Amazing Spider-Man. And yeah, I just didn't pick it back up. I was thinking about maybe collecting it on trade to see how it turns out. But yeah, like I said, just because they do that with a character doesn't mean that it can't be good. It just means, do they need to do it? If they can do that with a character, they could have just as easily wrote a new character. I wanted to hate Miles Morales and then read it and saw, wow, great stories. Yeah, I was going to say, I've read some of them, and yeah, they're actually pretty good stories. And like I said, I think it can be good. It's just that, is it necessary? And then that comes down to another thing, like, well, is any of it necessary? So that's why this kind of debate goes on and on. It could go on forever because, like I said, just because they shouldn't do it and they do it doesn't mean that it can't be good. It can be good. You're only making it a tougher job to convince everyone it isn't a copy and paste. Easier and better. Yeah, exactly. Comics on the Mind says, not just that, but people argue that writers are doing it just to be conscious of the times. Yeah, and I think sometimes they are, and sometimes they aren't. It's really a weird phenomenon, if you will. I mean, because the thing is it's geeks. We're talking about us geeks that have these problems with this stuff, you know what I mean? And of course, you know how it is. You know how it is when you got us geeks, us nerds, us passionate fans out there. We don't like it when they change these kinds of things. So I get it. Let's see. Trav 28 says probably not just 40 plus people like me, but they are the next generation. Come what may. Ovidio Rodriguez says New York has 1 million Puerto Ricans. It makes sense that Miles Morales would be Puerto Rican. Right, absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, they're doing the things right. Like they do what they're talking about here. I mean, like I said, they're still getting the things out there represented. You know, representing more real world stuff. But the thing is, they could easily do that just creating a new character. It's a good story. I am going to read it. Yeah. If it's a good story, yeah, absolutely. Maverick Pilgrim says, Rob Boswell agreed. I always thought of Miles as a what if a different person completely was bitten, not necessarily a race swap Peter Parker. Okay, yeah, fair enough. What if they changed anything from any other characters other than white ones? Like I said, I'm sure at some point they have. I wouldn't know, but I'm sure it's happened. Max Santiago says, what we need is good writers that know how to write action and characterization along with constructing good plots. Absolutely. And that's why I say indie comics do it every single day. There are people out there writing great indie comic books every single day, and they are doing that. And that's one of the things. Like, go check out Vault's Comics. That's kind of their mission, is to get like that representation and stuff out of there without it being forced, by creating new characters, by creating new stories, having their own creator-owned stories and things like that. That's why I love Vault Comics and what they're doing over there with that, because they get that, they put that in their books, and they're creating new stories, not changing old existing ones. And I think that's where the problem really lies in, is changing legacy characters. But guys, we need to get caught up with the chat here. Oh man, look how far behind I am. Dude. This is crazy. Let's see. Trap28 says, thanks for the holla. Okay, Firewater is here. Thank you so much for being here. Firewater Effects. Let's see. Kid can't walk through the gates because she is technically already inside Krakoa, a la Moira X. Although Destiny says that Kitty is an anomaly in Days of Future Past, she says the same about Moira X. Huh. Interesting, Ovidio. That's interesting, man. Damn, that's awesome. Oh, we're watching Diablo. Animes are the best to be released on Netflix, says Firewater Effects. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen any of those. I don't really, like, my kids watch Netflix more than I do. I'll have to check. I have to look into that. Trav says, loved Superior 2, but the JMS run eclipsed it for me. I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about there. Let's see. Where else are we at here? That's how they breed the kind of creeps that end up at parties on Epstein's Island. Oh man, I must have missed something. Dimajanai, what's up, my brother? How are you doing this morning? Hey man, I was just talking about you earlier. Dimajanai, I was talking about how you didn't like what they did with Captain America with the whole Hydra thing. Yeah. What? Ellen is Kansas ran for... Oh man. Oh yeah, you guys are being hilarious. Wolf Warner says, loving the facsimile editions. Yeah, it's nice, especially for collectors. I'm not a collector, but it's nice for collectors who want to replace, some of their books that maybe they have slabbed or want to get slabbed, so then, they don't have to take and open their books. Rob Boswell says, holy crap, I thought those were comics, I thought those were comic size behind you, and all the wall was really close. That was crazy when you walked back there. Made you look like a miniature. That's funny. That's the effect. I don't read them monthly. I wait till I have 4 issues in and read them back to back. Oh, okay. Like when the books come out, yeah. Save a few and then read them. And that's the cool thing, like about like Arrow and Swordmaster, the new anime style characters, the new manga style characters in Marvel, is those books read a lot better as a trade. I can guarantee you somebody buys a trade of Arrow or a trade of Swordmaster is probably going to enjoy it more than I did buying the single issues and having to wait, because the story, it's not necessarily that it's slow moving, but it's more like through the 5 issues you get more of that complete story, and it's definitely a whole lot better. LB from the Lonely Banter is here. Thank you so much for being here. Trav28 says, killing Gwen in the way it played out. Imagine you read this at the age of 7, prior to the internet age. Okay, all right. Yeah, I hear you. What you're saying. I wasn't ready for that Gwen Stacy death at the age of 6, right? In the 70s, I was a more innocent time. Yes, definitely. I hear you. I hear you. Fenrir Fire says, Sonic, thank you so much for being here, Fenrir. Let's see now. How much farther am I behind here? Max Santiago says Captain Marvel from Monica to Genesis Vale and and Carol Danvers. Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And again, the $5 super chat from Abu Nas. Thank you so much, my brother. I greatly appreciate that. For the love of movies, Kobe says, officially started my job at the cinema. Nice, my brother. How was it? Let us know how it was, man. Let us know how that was. Best thing about Cap Marvel was fodder for Rogue to juice up. Yes, definitely. Check out Wolf Warner stuff too. Yeah, actually, you know what? If you guys aren't subscribed to Wolf Warner, definitely go check out his channel, man. He got some very. You guys think I bring the energy sometimes? Wolf Warner definitely has brings the energy on his comic book pull list videos. Next up. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. I Am True Skills says, what's up, Trinity? You gonna get into Immortal Hulk? At some point, I will. At some point, I'll probably go back and read some of those trades because I've heard they've actually been pretty good. Wookiee Supremacy says, Abu does nothing but drop fire. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. He ain't the president for no reason. Some comic book hunter says, I got Power Man 49. It was a good read. Nice. Trav28 says, when will we see a Deathlock live action series or ROM Space Knight? Who knows, man? I mean, because Kevin Feige likes pulling out some of those characters that people know a lot less about, so the chances of it happening are pretty high. Longbox Diving says, Spider-Man, one of the first comics I ever bought. Nice. Drop ASM, not Miles. Oh, man, no, man. I'm like, right now, Amazing Spider-Man is really good. I really like Amazing Spider-Man right now. And, like, the last at least 3 issues have been really good. My Star Wars Santa says, my point is that changing a character, Hal Jordan for Guy Gardner, will get a lot of pushback, even when the racing. Oh yeah, absolutely. I knew what your point was there, Star Wars Santa. I got what your point was. Yeah, and that's the thing is because we're nerds and we don't want things to change like that. You know, we don't want somebody new as Captain America. We want Steve Rogers Captain America. You know, Bucky's fine. You know, all the others. You know, whatever. We want Steve Rogers Captain America. Yeah, I totally get you. Introducing a new character who is African American, Power Man, can be received more positively. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you just create new characters. That's the ultimate thing. Like a cable guy. I must have missed something there. That name needs a change. Let's see. Wolf Warner says people act like they want organic characters until the comic drops and no one bites. Example: Mosaic and Naomi. People act like they want organic characters until the comic drops and no one bites. Oh right. Well, and you know what? And I see that Naomi, like, man, that it goes for a lot. Like the issues at my local comic book shop, man, those things are going for some high prices. But and that's the thing is, because the challenge is you got to write that new character and you got to make it bite. You got to get people to want it. You got to hook them in. Like they did with the Amazing Mary Jane book. Like I said, like I read that book. I'm like, holy crap! Like this is actually a good book. I read it 3 times. Like 3 times when I first read it. I'm like, is this really a good book? Like Leigh Williams did what? What? She actually wrote a good book, and I liked it. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. And Wolf Warner, I think that's what it takes. People like me, people like you, out there when we read a book like that we like, to let people know that we like it and they need to go out there and read it. That's the importance of the fans, of people like me and you, is doing that. Speaking of which, guys, in case you guys don't know, this Friday on the Trailer Park Live, we're going to start the show off just like normal, but this Friday I'm going to have Snow Dub, Music and Entertainment, and Jolly from Snow Dub Music and Entertainment, and Kermit the Log are all going to be on the show on Friday on the Trailer Park Live, and we are going to be talking about and reviewing the Soska Sisters Rabid. Recently, I told you guys not too long ago, it did release on Blu-ray. It just recently released on Blu-ray on February 4th, and I actually purchased 2 copies of it. One to send to Kermit the Log, and one to send to my good friend Jolly over at Snowdub Music and Entertainment, and we are going to do a review of it. That's how much I believe in the Soska Sisters. That's how much I like their product. I like this movie, and I wanted to support what they're doing, so I went ahead and bought those extra copies, sent them out to them, and we're going to be talking about and reviewing that on the Trailer Park Live this Friday. Guaranteed to be a good time, I shit you not. It will be a great time. Guarantee you that. I thought Mosaic and Naomi were original, but buyers only jumped in for issue 1, and then the sales tailed off, and the book is canceled. Companies are playing it conservative. Organic doesn't sell. Again, I mean, part of that I will say Wolf Warner 2 is because these comic book companies, they are not good at promoting their product. They're not good at promoting their products. Last week, Marvel put out this really cringe video on some books that are coming up, but they had Agent M and some other dude sitting there like he's shaking him down in an interrogation. I'm sitting there watching it like, you guys aren't actors, right? Just tell me what damn books are coming out. This is pathetic. You guys can't. They can't even promote their own their own books. That's more the problem than just the fact that people aren't reading. Is that they don't know how to sell it. They don't know how to push their original character. They only know how to push the legacy characters that they've had forever, that they actually took the time to flesh out and build these original characters. That's the problem. That's their problem, is not being able to promote it. That's not our fault. Us as readers, you know this as well as I do, because you're reading the books. But these are good books, and that they have not promoted them good. They have a bigger stage than me and you do, yet they can't do it. They don't know how to do it. They're like, hey, we got this good book on our hands. Let's print it and put it on comic book shelves. Let's not tell people about it. Let's not reach out to people to get them to talk about it. Let's not, they're very bad at that. They're very bad at that. I mean, hell, look at that Birds of Prey thing that's going on there over there at Warner Brothers with that. That's an absolute mess. They promoted that movie so terrible, and it's actually a decent movie, but they don't know how to promote it. They just don't know how to promote it. Lonely Banter says, one day Second Street Marvel will only be 30 minutes behind the chat. Well, maybe. We'll see. Aggressively Relaxing says, I'm still mad about Giant Size X-Men 1. These trash token characters will never stick. Hashtag not my X-Men. Aggressively Relaxing is hilarious, man. You guys need to go check out his stuff. Vlad Wright says, all I'm hearing is that Second Street Marvel is the turtle as he's chat are the bunnies. Oh, right? Yes, definitely. Yeah, you guys are going at it, and it's so fun, and I got to watch Sonic for free. Nice, man. Awesome. Glad you're enjoying the job, dude. And that's definitely going to be one of the perks, is you get to go watch some of those movies for free, man. And I got to go see. I'm not sure if you dropped your... I didn't see your Sonic review drop yet, but when it does, I'll make sure I go check it out. Like I said, guys, go check out Kobe for the love of movies, man. Does some good reviews. Chillmonger says, some frustrations are legit, but others are trying to mask their racism too. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that, Chillmonger. Yeah, I think that. I think some people are, maybe they're masking their racism and all that kind of stuff. And not all of it is racism neither. I think some of it is just discrimination. And there is a difference between racism and discrimination. Most people don't understand the difference between the two. But I think some of it's discrimination too. And, because some people discriminate because they feel discriminated against, and that doesn't always just come down to racism though neither, So yeah. Wolf Warner says, Amazing Spider-Man is pretty slow to me. Where is Kindred character? Nick Spencer has to step it up. Oh, yeah, Kindred, they that should have been done and over with. The problem was they started to tie in with all those other things. It's tied into Absolute Carnage. It tied into this. It tied into that. Like, that story, that should be over. Like, yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Kindred should be over, and I'm glad they've kind of forgot about him at this point. Maybe they just need to forget about him. Aggressively Relaxing says, Stan Lee trying to shove these woke characters down our throats. We get it. Your experience in World War II made you believe humans are all the same and we should work together. What a piece of shit. Oh, Aggressively Relaxing, bro. You crack me up so much, dude. Oh, man. Effing hilarious, dude. If you guys aren't subscribed to Aggressively Relaxing, you're letting some of the best best videos in life pass you by, man. This dude is hilarious. This dude should be a stand-up. That's why we're all pretty sure at this point that Aggressively Relaxing is just Chip Zdarsky's YouTube channel. Second, Lonely Banter says, "Yo, Marvel YouTube channel is terrible at everything except trailers." Yes, that's true. That is true. The Marvel YouTube channel is terrible at everything except for the trailers. Absolutely. From Zod to Campy, how bad are we talking? Agreed, the marketing plans are horrible. Yeah, I think that's really like their worst problem with marketing the books. It's their marketing. Like they just cannot do it. Aggressively Relaxing says Marvel's YouTube is awesome. They make little cartoons and release songs made by fictional characters, all sorts of awesome content. Well, no, they have some good content on there, but still, their ability to promote their books, their comic books and things like that, and make people want to go out and read them is horrible. It's horrible. Let's see. Tommy says he's probably cleaning up a kid's vomit at the dojo. Oh man, what did I miss? I missed something there. Oh, you're talking about Zod there, right? The only kind of people who are obsessed with skin color are racists. Yeah, I think so for the most part. I could say that in some sort of manner. In some sort of manner, sure. Okay, guys, we're all caught up with the chat. I finally caught up with it, even though I skipped over a lot of it because you guys are being really active. Thank you all so much for being here today. Now, guys, in case you aren't already, like I said, make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that, if you don't send in super chats, which I greatly appreciate, if you don't send in direct donations, which I greatly appreciate, please make sure that you watch all the ads that show up in the videos, man. It helps, help a brother make a couple pennies. I'm not trying to get rich off of YouTube, man, but it is greatly appreciated when you do that. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel because, like I said, on Friday on the Trailer Park Live, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have a community stream, or I guess a collaboration stream with Kermit the Log and Jolly from Snow Dub Music and Entertainment. We're going to be talking about the Saska Sisters Rabid. Don't forget, guys, I am currently giving away a copy of the Saska Sisters Black Widow No Restraints play on Marvel Comics. You got to go back and watch my video that I did a couple weeks ago talking about Kelly Thompson's new series of Black Widow getting ready to come out to get entered into that. So make sure, if you want to read this book, make sure you go get subscribed. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, be a U.S. resident, and do what I say to in that video, and you're all good to go. You're entered into this giveaway. Also, guys, I got some videos coming up of some comic books that I recently read. I recently read a new comic book coming out from Impact Theory Comics. In case you guys don't know who Impact Theory is, they're one of my favorite channels here on YouTube. Tom Bilyeu, it is a company that he co-founded with his wife. They do some really amazing work over there. They now have 2 comic books that they have. They have got Neon Future, which was one of my favorite from last year, and this year they are getting ready to release Hexagon next month. I've got a video getting ready to come out highlighting that book. I got a chance to read it. It was a very great book. It kind of reminds me of The Last Starfighter. It's a little bit along those lines. It's guaranteed to be a good book. So look out for that getting ready to come out. I've also got a video that I'm working on for by another guy called the gentleman's name is Jeremy Alessi. He created this game. Him and his partners created this game called Swap Fire on the Nintendo Wii U a couple of years ago. One of the things they had, one of the perks that they had for backing that was a comic book, and I've got a copy of that, and I'm going to do a review of that here for you guys to check out as well. They're going to do a Kickstarter, I believe, or an Indiegogo for releasing this. It will be I believe it's going to be available on like Comixology, or you can order the physical copy from them that they will be having coming up, and that is again called Swap Fire. You guys should make sure that you check out that game. Let me know if you guys have heard of that game, Swap Fire, on the Nintendo Wii U. But yeah, so guys, a few things coming up this week, and as always, it's going to be a great week. If there's anything that you guys would like for me to talk about, subjects or anything, please make sure that you get a hold of me here at the channel. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at the Second Street Marvel. Send me your ideas, send me topics that you'd like me to discuss, anything like that. Let me know what you'd like to talk about, because this is kind of what I like to do here on the morning movie chats, as long as it relates to the movies or even the comic books, stuff that we talk about here on the channel. I'm not going to talk about politics in the Middle East or in China or anything like that. I don't do that here, man. We talk about nerdy stuff, and we talk about the nerdy stuff that we love. So yeah, feel free to get a hold of me. at Second Street Marvel on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Like I said, that's all I have for today's video, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Give this video a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down if you don't like what we're saying here. It's all good. I don't take it personally. But while you're at it, make sure that you share this video with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a good day off if you don't have to work today, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.